All right, team. This is your host, Charles Becco from Brooklyn Traders. And today we're going to talk about your favorite topic and mine, the stock market. Let's get right to it. All right, team. So we are at a very interesting point. So we're looking at SPY here. So the underlying metrics that we look at, when we look at the chart, at least for SPY, is fixing itself. As you can see, we're kind of in like this kind of upwards channel here on the hourly time frame, right? But I think we're gonna be looking pretty good. It's kind of weird, like the hourly time frame looks like it's kind of soon to be flashing more of a bullish signal, while the daily time frame is flashing a bearish signal, and the weekly is kind of flat. If you look at the weekly over here, we've kind of been in a wedge pattern since the lows that was made in September, where we're kind of going up, down, up, down, up, down, and we really haven't gone anywhere. I mean, theoretically, I mean, as it relates to SPY, right? I mean, we've been in a channel from about 411 to 364 or 379 ish since May, right? It's just been this. Like we've literally gone sideways, right? And so this could be another consolidation pattern for a bigger move in a longer time frame, right? But again, on a daily time frame, looks a bit bearish. This looks like it's forming something like a bear flag here. But on the hourly time frame, I would say this is, again, if you're just looking at the chart pattern, it is skewed bullish, right? For the first time in a long time, you have the hourly 50 over the hourly 200. The hourly 8 is on top of the hourly 21, hourly 21 over the 50. So things are kind of stacking up the way that they need to be for it to be bullish on the hourly time frame here, right? And so I could definitely see us kind of getting back above 400 and towards this upper channel, which is around 405 and up to the upper range of 411. That is possible, but that doesn't necessarily have to happen, right? We have other news in the market, unless you've hidden under a rock, right? You had Silicon Valley Bank, First Republic Bank, Credit Suisse, and a couple of others on Wall Street having some trouble, right? And to say the truth, we really did owe you guys a report during that week. We just got busy with everything else, besides, actively trading the markets. We still do stuff over here, and again, not to doubt anybody else and what they do, but it's kind of like that influencer dilemma, right? Especially if you're like an influencer who claims to work or operate in a space. I mean, if you're so busy in that space, how do you have time to create content? Creating content takes a very long time, and it's like, well, where do you find time to do what you say you're doing if you're always creating content? Hope you guys can understand. Something to think about, not coming after anyone, not directed at anyone in particular, but you just kind of have to watch it. But hey, there's people out there, the polymaths out there that can do it all. But anyway, back to the charts. So weekly we're flat, daily we're bearish, and hourly is kind of bearish tinted, but looks like it's fixing itself up to be bullish, right? And also we do have to apologize to our group here. This is just too many alarms. What is going on, man? Way too many alarms there. Okay, sorry about that. But anyway, but we do have to kind of apologize to our subscribers. We really did owe you guys this analysis last week, right? But we just got terribly busy. But yeah, last week, we did see that Qs were, fixing themselves. haven't been taking a ton of trades, but we did go long Netflix last week. Believe we had an option for 320, and I think Netflix got to 315, 316. The option was good for about 300% upside, so that was pretty good. But yeah, Qs here definitely fixed themselves in the hourly time frame. Okay, and it's got a nice pace. Okay, kind of an ugly looking chart. Okay, in the daily time frame, but the daily's bullish, the hourly bullish, the weekly is fixing itself. I know this kind of looks like hell with all the levels. You know, we could just look at the NQ, right? You know, if this thing would. All right, there we go. All right, so here's the NQ, right? And yeah, I mean, guys, this is fixing itself, man. I mean, you can see the clear double bottom there. Okay, or you can say this is like, you know, one giant shoulder, one double bumpy head, and a little shoulder here, you know, or one big old shoulder, one little head, one big shoulder, and here we go. And I mean, the Qs are fixing themselves, you know. And trust me, you know, coming into this year, and last year and for the past couple months, you know, I had a pretty bearish stance here, but I can't necessarily say that we're just gonna like fall down and go boom. I mean, you know, for most of for all of last year, we were bearish, right? I mean, we called out the bearish signal up here. You know, we were one of the only really analysts out there who were, you know, who literally called all this, right? We got the videos up. You could go back, check the receipts from December and January of 2021 and 22, respectfully. But yeah, I mean, again, you can just see it from the chart. Like the Qs are fixing themselves, you know. So, you know, for, you know, NASDAQ to kind of get back up to these upper ranges, right? It's kind of possible, you know. You know, I don't look at something like this as like really bad. Like, I mean, I just don't see, again, based on these charts, you know, how we would, you know, how do we just go all the way back down here? Now, that's not to say that can't happen, right? Because again, right, just like like SPY, right? If you look at it from a macro view, we've just gone sideways for, like, you know, the greater part of last year, right? Just sideways, right? But if you look in short term, like you know, the last 6 months, I mean, the last couple months, I mean, it looks like it's fixing itself to go higher, right? So that's what we have on the Qs. I do want to kind of pull up a monthly chart here, right? Let's look at the NQ, right? Because, again, just a bunch of nastiness. All right. Yeah, you can kind of see it here, right? It's like, you know, we came down to the monthly 50, and it looked like we're bouncing like a basketball a little bit, right? Like, you know, you're getting the first kind of neutral indicator on the histogram there, right? So, you know, you see the MACD histogram kind of like, I don't know, turning around a little bit, right? And so, I mean, look, I mean, the 8 is still under the 21 in the monthly time frame, but the 50 and the 200 are still stacked positively, right? So, I mean, is it impossible that, you know, we fully fix ourselves and we go to all-time high? Guys, it's not impossible. It's really not, you know. Something like that could possibly be in the cards. I mean, to me, you know, even in a bear market, we could kind of bounce up here, you know, just to kind of go do that, right? Just to be back down here anyway, right? Or down here. Like, to me, to me personally, you don't get a crash until you're down here, right? To me, if like a crash, right? Like you're talking at your 2008s and your 2000 style crashes, they end down here, right around the monthly 200, and we're not there, right? And so we're far from there, actually. So, if you just look at, I'm dancing around here, but if you look at a chart like Apple here, man, and this thing is just going to take a sweet time. Guys, Apple is a stone's throw away, and Apple really has not really like gone down. I mean, Apple has been like $20-$30 away from an all-time high for a while, y'all. And if you look on the monthly here, not only did we not get out of the bearish thing, we're going neutral on the monthly here, right? This is a neutral bar right here that may be fixing itself to go right back to being bullish, right? Look at the histogram here. You see, like, it's a decreasing in the bearish signaling, right? And so, I mean, guys, Apple has literally been, at risk. I mean, if you're a bear, right? It's been at risk to be at all-time highs this entire time, right? If you want to take a look at Apple here on the shorter-term time frame, right? Just pretty much one of the best assets to own all of last year. I would have put Tesla there as well, but man, you see what happened with Tesla, but guys, look at Apple here, right? A lot of big nastiness, right? But it's, if you're a long-term holder, right, in Apple, you're not worried at all. Not with a pattern that looks like this. To me, again, this looks more bullish than bearish to me, even though it's sideways. I mean, guys, if a market is not going down, sideways to up, I mean, think about it. If it's not going down, where is it going, right? The stock market is designed to really just go up and go up and up and up forever. It's designed that way. Like, things are designed, like, companies are designed for growth, like unlimited growth for all time, right? And so, yeah, I mean, if we're not, shoot, Apple didn't even hit its weekly 200. Bullish signals on the daily time frame, bullish signals on the hourly time frame. Weekly chart that's fixing itself, right? That's Apple. Look at Microsoft here. Another chart that, again, just, did hit the weekly 200 here, but again, right? I mean, we're at 272, all-time highs, 349. I mean, look at this weekly chart. Again, bullish on the daily, bullish in the hourly. I mean, could we like come down a little bit? Yeah, sure. But it's, I mean, just like Apple, just like the Qs, you look like you want to buy the dip. Actually, SPY just looks a little bit different, right? So SPY is the only one where you're getting mixed signals in the daily and hourly. But if you look at the Microsoft, you look at Apple, it looks bullish. Let's look at Tesla here. Okay, we're just going to do all your favorites because, why not? Haven't done an analysis in a while. Looks like there is kind of a short setup here on Tesla on the hourly time frame, right? We can see it's coming back right back down to 183 in the hourly, but again, that happens in a daily time frame. I mean, we're bullish in the daily time frame, right? Tesla again down from 415 all the way down to $100. Okay, now, I mean, for a max bearish point of view, right? Like, you could argue that this may be like a bear flag on the weekly time frame because Tesla doesn't look as good as some of the other ones, especially on the weekly time frame. And all of these open lines, all of these green lines here, these are open gaps, right, from the pandemic, right? And so we've seen some open gaps in some of the open charts, right? And so again, team, I mean, yeah, this is definitely, a bear market, but, not like a a max bear market crash, right? And Tesla's pretty far away from its all-time highs, but yeah, this hourly time frame looks like it wants to fix itself. The daily time frame definitely fixed itself. You know, it came all the way up to the daily 200, kind of like, you know, stone's throw within. We've just kind of been pushed back down, but again, you know, Tesla not as bullish as Apple, not as bullish as Microsoft, but you know, I can't say that Tesla is in like dire straits either. You know, as we kind of get lower and lower on this chart, you know, you should start adding some shares here. We talked about it, right? Like Tesla down at 100, like we talked about it in a previous video. So, yeah, it is what it is. Like, you know, over a long term, you're looking to own Tesla in the next 5 to 10 years. Yeah, you should be adding some shares. Absolutely, why not? For sure. Meta. Again, we talked about it. Meta sub 100, and you know, look, right? And look at Meta on the weekly time frame, fixing itself. Bullish in the daily, bullish in the hourly. We have a golden cross on Meta, right? I mean, what more do you need? Literally, what more do you need? Okay, so sorry for all the phone theatrics here. I'm not gonna cut that out. I got a very, very tight schedule I'm trying to keep, and we're going to roll with it, right? And so, excuse me. So, let's see here. Yeah, fixing itself on the weekly time frame, right? You got the weekly 8 above the weekly 50, weekly 21 over the weekly 50, stack positively. Looks like we want to make a run for 230 there on Meta. Bullish on the daily time frame, bullish on the hourly time frame. I mean, yeah, I mean, you know, team, like, you know, again, just look at the chart. Look at this huge engulfing candle off the low bar here on the weekly, right? I mean, and this I mean, you got a chart like this. It's about one of the easiest charts to trade, right? Like Meta has not given you trouble since making that low in October, really, you know. Been a great textbook long here on Meta. Same with Netflix here. You know, you're going to see a similar pattern. Again, the beaten down ones, you know, just the beaten down stocks are the first ones to buy. Again, Netflix, another one that, hey, if you like the long term, again, you know, like nice little stair step here, right? So 183, 230, 298. You know, and you're finally getting a bullish signal on the weekly time frame, right? So like, yeah, Netflix, the daily time frame is flashing bearish though, but then the hourly time frame is flashing bullish. So, you know, a little mix there, you know. Right now the hourly and the weekly is bullish. I'm more inclined to play this you know, from a bullish point of view, but you know, you do have to like watch out because again, with the risk of contagion from these banks that are failing or looking like they want to fail. You know, there's a lot of pressure on Jay Powell to, you know, stop raising rates, right? But is that going to be enough? You know, is the Fed going to say, hey, you know, we got inflation under control? I mean, I went to the store the other day and the price of chicken looked like it was okay, you know. But when you have problems with inflation, you know, it doesn't go away like very quickly, right? You know, it comes in waves, you know, you get big bumps here, you get not really valleys, but it comes down. But guys, inflation is still pretty much high, right? So, yeah. Anyway, back to Netflix here. Again, you got a daily MACD cross up, weekly bullishness, hourly bullishness. The daily chart looks a bit weak. This does look like a bear flag, so mixed signals on a daily time frame. But again, team, you know, like we should have been adding some shares, right? We talked about it. That's Netflix here, Nvidia. Again, you know, look at the weekly 200 here, and then bam, and I mean, we went from like this nonsense, right, to being a stone's throw away from an all-time high. bullishness on the weekly time frame here on NVIDIA. Look at that, right? It doesn't take very long. I mean, you're talking, this is you know, from doing this in October to that, right? Just up 100%, up 100 and almost up 150% right there, right? It's since October, right? So just it just lets you know the market, right? But team, again, right? It doesn't mean that we can't go the other way. It's just, you know, the more I look at this, the more the charts say that they would rather go up than down, right? So if you're looking at this from a purely chart perspective, right? To me, the chart looks bullish, right? That doesn't necessarily mean that a bank can't fail somewhere, a deal doesn't go through, somebody launches a missile somewhere, something blows up in some unforeseeable way that we cannot possibly fathom, and then all this doesn't matter. I mean, that is always a possibility. Let me be abundantly clear about that. But based on what the chart is showing us, right, this thing looks more bullish in the short and medium term to me. Okay. And again, you know, I try not to say I'm a bull or a bear. I've gotten beaten up, you know, trying to be a bear. And yet, no, just be whatever the chart says you gotta be, right? And right now this is looking bullish, so, you know, you want to look at the market. Again, daily, weekly, hourly, bullish setup on NVIDIA here. Okay, yeah, we could kind of come down, you know, come down to 250, 257, 212. I mean, you know, and you definitely want to buy the dip on NVIDIA there. I think Amazon, right? And then Google. All right, let's look at Amazon real quick. We're just going to go through all the FANG, and then we're going to go to Bitcoin. Yeah. So Amazon hasn't had like the recovery like Meta or Netflix, but to me, again, Amazon is one of like the best run companies in the world, and you want to be buying some long term shares of Amazon under $100. I mean, yeah, it just does it seem like you shouldn't, you know? So yeah, definitely buy the dip on Amazon. Bullish in the daily, bullish in the hourly. Fixing itself on the weekly time frame here. Yeah, and again, if we get a nice dip here to the hourly 200 at 94 on Amazon, that'd be fantastic. Okay. GOOG, same thing, right, guys? The same chart, like bullish in the daily, bullish in the hourly, weekly fixing itself. We got something that looked like a triple bottom here on Google, right? So unless ChatGPT just completely just wipes it off the map, you could possibly be long in some Google. But a lot of people believe that ChatGPT is gonna be the Google killer, right? And so, you know, who knows? Hard to speculate over a long period of time. But this chart looks to me, right? Again, it's in a wedge. Right, I mean not a wedge. It's in a channel here, right? A pretty neat, tight, orderly channel. We go up here, we come down, right? So, you know, I don't know. I mean, could we do one of these? Absolutely, absolutely. You know, I haven't been looking at all of these like monthly charts here, but you know, this definitely looks like a bear flag on the monthly time frame. If you look at some of these other names, right, that we just went through. I don't know why things are just taking so long. Okay. Yeah, again, these charts are just, again, some of the stronger names, right? Apple, Microsoft are fixing themselves. You know, weaker, you know, Amazon, Tesla doesn't look as good, right? All right, doesn't look as good, you know, with some of the weaker names, right? And so for me, you know, anything's a possibility. We could make a run for all-time highs, or we could kind of just fall flat on our faces. Either scenario is open, but again, these charts, you know, they're just not like saying, "Hey, this is a super bearish chart, just short everything, right? They're not saying that, right? And you have to kind of play it with like a wait and see kind of deal, because it's just not showing that, right? If I'm someone, especially if I'm speculating, I'd be watching very closely as to this banking crisis and see if the Fed and all the really smart people in the world, like they could, Jamie Dimons of the world, like to see if they could help to kind of contain this crisis, right? And so, yeah. So today is March the 21st, Tuesday. Tomorrow, the Fed rate decision will come out, March the 22nd, typically around 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, we'll see. If Fed decides to raise rates, I could feel like the market may interpret that as being very bearish, right? And so, expect, some kind of bearish reaction, or if it's one of those, hey, it's, bad news is good news, maybe the market takes bad news and just rallies like heck. I mean, we've done that for years, I've sat there and watched it happen for years. Like literally take bad news and just say, oh, this is somehow good, and let's go. Let's roll with it. I do want to talk about Bitcoin here. It does look like it's fixing itself, okay? You're getting your first neutral bar here on the monthly histogram here. You look like you want a MACD cross. I had been, taking venturing shorts on Ethereum, but yeah, the sentiment looks like it's changing around. I thought we were gonna get to 10,000 Bitcoin, and we got down to 1,400, right? And so haven't seen that max, bearishness on Bitcoin yet. Okay, I haven't done it yet, but I feel like going to Coinbase and setting a buy limit order, at 10,000 Bitcoin, right? Like I still feel like I should just set it and just set it and forget it. But yeah, bullish in the hourly, bullish on the daily. A lot of people are speculating that because of the uncertainty with the banking system, and if you look, right, like look what happened here, right? We did this, which looks crazy bearish, and then we just literally shot up like a rocket, right? We're all the way down from the third ATR to the downside to the third ATR on the upside, literally in a matter of days, right? Which is insane, right? But again, as people felt, that there was actually a crisis in traditional banking, well, believe it or not, Bitcoin was actually designed to address instability in the traditional markets, right? And so if you think about it, Bitcoin is actually functioning the way that it's supposed to, right? The whole idea, between that, Satoshi Nakamoto, I'm sure that's like a fake name. The whole idea, right, is, when Bitcoin was created, like it was created, in the smoldering fires of 2008, right? And it was supposed to be like an alternate currency that could be more of a safe haven away from the craziness, right? So if you're in an environment where inflation is out of control, interest rates are crazy, then, banks are literally failing left and right? Then yeah, why wouldn't Bitcoin be a safe haven asset? It was designed to be so, right? So what you're kind of seeing with Bitcoin, right, it's kind of having kind of a decoupling from the markets, right? Where it's like, it's no longer, hey, okay, the market is crap in the bed, and so is Bitcoin and crypto in general, right? So, I mean, maybe the failure of the banks is something that needed to happen, right? To kind of, give more of a use case to Bitcoin, right? Now, if you look at the weekly time frame here, team, right? Look again. Okay, you can see this is a shoulder, kind of, little crooked head, kind of. There goes another shoulder, and bam, the weekly 8 is over the weekly 50, the weekly 21 right behind it. We punched through the weekly 200, right? And so definitely expect some kind of a pullback here in Bitcoin on both the daily and the hourly time frame. But I mean, we pull back a Bitcoin. You got to buy the dip. I mean, the only reason why you're not buying the dip here, especially with like you just kind of literally crush through all these support levels. You have plenty of support here, plenty. You got a support level there at 2,400, another one at 2,100, another one at 19 and 20,000, and at 16,000 here, right? So you got a few levels here that you could kind of like put your back against the wall and say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna be long Bitcoin, right? And so, just what I think. Let's look at Mara. So again, right? To me, right? Again, and you're looking at crypto, right? Like, look at the crypto related names, right? They haven't recovered yet, right? So that may be a signal. Okay. Gosh, can I even remember all these names? Like Square, right? All right, Coin. Gosh, what's the other one? I can't even remember the other ones. Mara wasn't my choice of crypto names. I don't remember all of the other ones. Oh gosh. Especially the other one, because I never liked Mara. I always liked the other one. Let me go. Hold on. Riot. It's Riot, right? Yeah. I've always been a Riot fan, right? A lot of people don't know, but Mara was one of those holding companies that for a very, very long time they just did everything else, right? And then they associated themselves with Bitcoin during the 2017-2018 crypto frenzy, and when we saw Bitcoin hit 20,000, and then it got a name for itself, right? And so it's always had that association, and so all right. But again, with Silvergate Capital, I believe, going down, and then you had Signature Bank going down, crypto friendly bank. Just the macro environment is still not that great, really, but in terms of the use case, right? SoFi here. Right, again, and guys, these are some of the names, like, long term, right? Like, you want to be looking to add some of these guys. Like, look at Robinhood, right? Again, I'm looking to add some of these names long term. Okay, I don't think Robinhood is dead. Because Robinhood was literally the gateway drug to all the millennials, getting into the stock market, right? And so, yeah, Robinhood's not dead. Look at me adding some shares of Robinhood long term for sure. I'm down here. Robinhood, SoFi, again, Coin, right? And Square. Guys, you have to be adding these names down here. You gotta be. You have to be, right? Like, look at this. You gotta. And wow, Coin was all the way down to $31, right? Sheesh, man. Sheesh. Yeah, you gotta be adding some of these names down here. Square. Kind of a longish video. Didn't mean for this video to go so long, but really had to kind of like get pull our collars up. Pull our collars down and kind of get down and dirty with the analysis, right? And so looking good. Okay, right now it looks like Square looks bearish on the daily and hourly time frame. Looks like it could potentially go back down. Weekly is fixing itself, but yeah, team. Short to medium term, again, without any kind of interference from the Fed, look for this thing to be to be more bullish than bearish. Okay, again, that's just what the charts is showing. Okay, doesn't have to happen. Assume anything you hear on this channel will get you clapped. Anyway, this is Charles Becco from Brooklyn Traders, and I will see you guys soon. Hey, thanks for watching. Please be sure to like, share, and follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. If you enjoy this content, please check out our website at www.brooklyntraders.net. That is www.brooklyntraders.net. Thanks, and God bless.